All right, third video of the day. How about that? I have friends in town from high school. They come spend a couple days at my home. And then also with the hurricane passing, I just had a bunch of thoughts, built up. So here goes video number three of the day. I wanted to talk in this video about this article right here in the Washington Post, Associated Press, that President Jovenel Moise did. Now, when we look at we're going to read through this article. It's very short, but when you see it, you're going to understand the mentality of leaders in Haiti, and it's not just this guy. It's since the days of Duvalier. You have to remember they are all using the same playbook. Do not let them try to divide themselves. Don't let Tech Kale say they different than Fumi Lavalas. Don't let Fumi Lavalas say they're different than the Duvalier. It's all been the same game book. Even though it's been under the same system, they've all been playing by the same game book. Every president that comes into power, really since since the beginning of Haiti, since 1804. But then again, those were different times. It was a different world then. But every president that comes into power, their goal is to keep power and to become a president for life. They think they are a king rather than an elected official to serve. Jovenel, he's just so, you know, he's a father, so I want to show more respect for him than I typically would. So I will just say he's a little behind the. He's not the brightest of the brightest, in terms of politics. It's not his strength at all. And you will see from this interview, but understand he's no different than what we've had. And the way he talks is no different than the way every politician in Haiti thinks. So if you saw the first video of the day, I showed this article because Haitian president pledges to outlast troubles, and I show how he himself created those troubles for himself. But let's read this. Haiti's president says he will serve out his term despite rising violence, poor economic performance, and months of protests over unresolved allegations of corruption in his predecessor's administration. There's a little, it's a little untrue, predecessor's administration, but it involves him. But I mean, they say that in the AP article, so no gripes there. I'll take that back. But President Jovenel Moise pledged in an interview with the Associated Press on Wednesday to respect the findings of a commission investigating the corruption allegations. It takes a lot of courage to stay in power, but I'm pledging to you to have the courage to continue moving forward, Moise said, saying he would resist pressure to resign. Now, that is such a big problem. See, when does it get to a point where you feel that your serving out your term is bigger than the needs or the desires of the people? You see, a resignation is such a rare thing in Haiti. It's very rare. There's even a saying. It goes, "Nous l'aide, nous la, mais nous la." Which means we're ugly, but we're here. It may be ugly, but I'm here. It may be ugly, but I'm at this level. I'm at this place. It may be ugly, but I'm gonna stay here. There's that mentality, and Haiti will be so much better off when lawmakers have the disposition that if it's ugly, if it becomes ugly for the country, for them to stay, that they will leave. That example has not been set to my. I mean, there's been resignations before, but it's been forced resignations for the most part. I think when former Prime Minister Laurent Lamont, uh, when he resigned, that wasn't that was out of a negotiation. But I think that's the closest you will get of a person seeing the situation might be helped by them leaving and actually doing it. Jovenel Moise is speaking, but he knows the situation will be helped by him leaving office. But he thinks somehow it takes a lot of courage to stay in power. Where? It takes more courage to resign, my dear brother. That's where the courage is at. To resign and give another a chance and believe that, hey, if we keep having failure after failure, if I set the tone for, hey, if you can't get it done, resign, then we can actually find somebody who can finally get it done. We can actually make Haiti more important than the individual who's in office. I'm pledging to you. To who? But I am pledging to you to have the courage to continue. To who? Who are you talking to, Jovenel, when you say that? Not the people of Haiti, because the overwhelming majority want you to resign. So who are you pledging this to? Companies, I'm going to continue reading. Companies belonging to Moise were named in 2 reports by a federal auditor. They use the term federal, but Haiti's so far from a federal government. But I would like to see the federal government. That's in another thing. Okay, I'm going off track. But anyways, by a federal auditor and the Haitian Senate into the spending of funds from Petrocaribe. Protesters have repeatedly taken to the streets in recent months in demonstrations prompted by the findings of widespread fraud in government contracts awarded to contractors to build roads, buildings, and administer social programs. Moise was described as receiving potentially improper payments as a private. That's very equivocative, if that's the word. But yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did, and it was found. And the audits revealed millions of dollars of aid money siphoned off by contractors for shoddy and substandard work, like an overpass built over busy Delmar Avenue that cost $23 million but should have cost around $16 million. It's not just that. There's so many more. I mean, I'm reading through the Petrocaribe reports. I expect to eventually be able to do a series on it, actually breaking it down. But it's over 800 pages. But it's worse. This is like the least of it. 23 for 16. This is the least. We're talking about situations where something probably should have cost $1 and it's marked up to $95. That's what we're talking about. Of course, we must know the truth, and the truth about this investigation must be released. That's what Jovenel says. That is very important. The investigation must reveal the truth so that justice can be served and the guilty jailed. Those who misspent the government's money, they should be arrested and locked up, Moise said. And this is the part that's really crazy. So he's talking about that the investigation the Court of Auditors did, but he says the judicial audit does not involve the executive branch. This is a concern of the judicial branch. Like, what is he talking about? He's saying that the Supreme Court of Auditors, which audited the accounts of the executive and put out their report, he says it only concerns the judicial branch. He doesn't have a basic understanding of how the government works. This is an amazing, amazing, and grave thing for him to say. Like, the judicial audit does not involve the exec. Like, what does he mean by that? Does not involve the executive, and it's the concern of the judicial branch. The judicial branch has power over the executive branch. The legislative branch has power over the executive branch. The executive branch has power to execute things. That's it. He doesn't have an understanding of how government works. It's very sad. This is very grave. We haven't, not going to call him name, but he's not that bright when it comes to these government. And this is who Martelli gave us. And it makes me think, back when there was that real movement to kick Martelli out of office, and then some of the opposition, sadly to say Edmond Supplice Bozil, sadly to say Evans Paul, sadly to say Milan Manigat, quite a bunch of them, they decided to become the moderate opposition and deal with Martelli. And Martelli gave you this, which is Jovenel. Oh yeah, and he forced it in there illegally, out, not democratically. That's what happens when you compromise your principles for jobs. Listen to this. We must go beyond talking about the survival of the government because political stability in Haiti is the most important things for us. If the opposition wants power, they must participate in democratic elections and win the vote of the people. Well, yeah, if the opposition, democratic elections, let's understand he didn't participate in them and he should know that. But we must go beyond talking about the survival of that's what you're talking about. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about the survival, you surviving your term. People are talking about the end of that and to address the issues with the Constitution, address issues with the electoral cycle, which is madness. For example, how maddening is it? So the Haitian president serves for 5-year terms. We had Aristide in 90. He was out in 94. But, we're trying to keep the terms 95, 2000, 2005, 2010, every 5 years. Pueval couldn't hold the 2010 elections. He tried. You remember that's when the year of the earthquake. But eventually Martelli came in 2011. But they had, it was a mess because of the earthquake. So that set us back a year. Martelli gets into office, and his 5 years should be to 2016. But what would have been the right thing for Martelli to do is to cut off his presidency at 2014 so that we could have elections at 2015 so we could have elections that year and get back on track. But even though this still doesn't work in terms of with the legislature because those are even numbers. So there's still that big problem. But I'm just talking about getting things back into a regular mode as far as the presidency is concerned. So Martelli doesn't want to have elections. He thinks he's going to be president for life. But eventually he gets forced into it. But it's 2 years down the road with a transitional government, transitional president that Jocelyn Puive is running. And then we get Jovenel in 2017. Rather than him saying that, hey, I'm just going to get out in 2020 so that things could be, back in order, he's like, oh, no, we're going to 2022. I need my 5 years. These are people that don't put the country first. They don't. And it goes back for decades now. Goes back whenever you hear somebody, talking these crazy stuff. I have my term. I need to finish my term. They're not putting the country first. They're not thinking. Your term should never be at the expense of the country, of the honor of the country, the honor of the people. And as long as we have people not willing to do that, what can you expect? What can you expect for Haiti? Absolutely nothing. I believe that's all I had to say on the subject. Man, 3 videos, yo, it feels pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted to, put some content out. Maybe I'll do another one today. I don't know. This is getting pretty easy. I would like to do them regularly, so we'll see. But subscribe, like, goodbye. Love you all. Peace.